welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Nia Darling. Should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where, Monday morning, time to stop snoring. It's time to get out of your bed. I can't remember. This is a song we used to sing back in primary school. And you know me, I'm an endless fountain of songs from my childhood for whichever reason, I can't tell you, I just remember for no apparent reason. But yeah, what was I going to talk about today? Obviously, we really talked about the big thing of Eurovision yesterday. I haven't listened to any of the songs since, so, have they grown on me? Have they not grown on me? I don't know. That's in the past, I'm just looking forward to next year's Eurovision already. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now on Fawnhollow at 6:11pm on Monday, May 15th, 2023. Not to be like, I hate Eurovision or anything, just more like I'm just sort of like looking forward to, it's kind of there for the spectacle. Once the spectacle's over, it's like, that's it. time to wait for your next one. What else happened recently? The new Legend of Zelda came out, right? The new Breath of the Wild, which is not called Breath of the Wild or whatever. It's called Tears of a Kingdom or something. Which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't realize it was coming out so soon. And by so soon, I mean like 2 days ago or something, or yesterday. I can't really remember which day. I genuinely thought it wasn't coming out for like another year or something, because that's like the last I heard of it was like, whoa, Tears of Kingdom is coming out in like 1 year's time, which I guess probably in retrospect I probably heard it like a year ago or something, and it actually got released. I guess I'm just kind of used to like games being delayed or something once they've been announced, because that's I'm not like against it necessarily. Well, I mean, I guess I'm against it technically, but like on principle, and what like the context behind it, I'm not necessarily against, because a lot of the time these games get delayed to try and avoid crunch or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, don't crunch. In my from my very outside of the industry consumer perspective, I'm just like, that doesn't sound like a great time. I'd much rather a game come out later rather than like where people want it just like dying. But yeah, I suppose the most infamous one that people always think about is, of course, the Hollow Knight Silksong DLC, second game, I guess, being super delayed. Like, it got delayed again recently, didn't it? Which is interesting to think about, because you might be like, are you going to play that game? Absolutely. I don't know if I'm going to play it immediately on release, to be honest. Like, I'm going to try it if it comes out. Because Hollow Knight was such a popular, I think, series on my channel, I feel like I have to play it. And I have to play it like basically as soon as it comes out. So probably if that comes out, I'm like immediately, immediately 2 of my other series will probably be going down to 1 episode every single week rather than 2 episodes every single week, just to make room for Hollow Knight. They'll be slashed, just because that's how big Hollow Knight is. That's how I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm hotly anticipating it as well, but like I think a lot of people are anticipating it as well, right? So why not play the game as it comes out? At least that's sort of my view. But I suppose without thinking, I need to sort of like actually get the Hollow Knight thumbnail up prepared in advance, which I'll be honest, I'm not going to do. Not right now. I'm a little bit too busy for that, to be honest. I haven't even started the next thumbnail up for whatever's going to be after Spiritfarer, which I'm going to be honest, Spiritfarer had quite a few more episodes in it left than I expected. It's probably got at least like 3 or 4 more episodes in it, I think, still, which is wild, because I thought it would take like 5 episodes and then it'd be done. So thank you, Spiritfarer, for buying me a lot of time, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I don't know, delays in general in games are just like, I feel like we're almost par for the course now, to be honest. I don't mean that as a disparaging bad thing, but I've got to imagine behind the scenes it's some sort of project manager being like, yeah, we can make it for this date, and then all the devs are like, no, we can't, and then it's like, well, now we got to try, and it's like, well, we can't make it for the date, surprise, shock, horror. And especially, some people in the business side of the sales wing being like, okay, we got to get this game out like before Christmas, starts. Otherwise, we're going to miss out on like a major holiday season. And, I get it. Like, that makes perfect sense. Like, of course you want like the thing you call like it's. I don't know how to say this. Like, I suppose it's easy to antagonize them, being like they're making the devs crunch or whatever. But I suppose it's also like on the flip side, literally their job is to make the most money possible. And what's going to make the most money? Probably releasing before the holiday season. It makes sense. It's sort of like I can't fault you sort of way, but it's like a remember the human at the end of the day, isn't it? That's just a sort of like saying which goes for anything, to be honest. Fair enough in your justifications, but remember the human at the end of the day, because at the end of the day we are all humans, we're all living on the earth, we're all just trying to have a good time surviving, right? Like, surviving should be the bare minimum. I'm going to be honest. Surviving and having a good time should also be the bare minimum. But you'd be surprised how rarely that is often the case. Anyway, so delays. Yeah, Silk Song's delayed again. I don't really mind because, like, I'm going to be honest. I'm like, I am like excited for Silk Song, but I'm not like insanely hyped. Like, you know me, I don't like get insanely hyped for many Silk games. Like, I think literally the last game I can think of which I was like insanely hyped for its released. And by insanely hyped, I mean like pretty excited for, because you gotta remember my level of insane hype is probably everyone else's level of like, oh, that looks like something to look forward to. my emotional range is my emotional extremes, I should say, quite a bit narrower than the average person's, I'd imagine. I don't know necessarily if that's true. I don't know if there's a way to quantify that, but I feel like I probably wouldn't surprise you if you watch any of my videos. But the last game I was particularly excited for was New Horizons, I'm going to be honest, because when it was announced, I still remember that Nintendo Direct when it was like, Animal Crossing, what's it going to be? And it's like, oh, Isabel's coming to Smash, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited for Isabel coming to Smash as well. But also that it's like, I really thought I was going to be an Animal Crossing, and then just like, whoa, Tom Nook at the end teasing Animal Crossing, and I was just like, what? I think that was also delayed, wasn't it? Like, wasn't it meant to come out like also before the year was up? It was like meant to be late 2022. Sorry, not late 2022. Late 2020. I don't even remember. 2019 or something. Late 2018. It came out 2019. Has it been that long? That is crazy to think about. Well, we are in year 4, aren't we? So so it must have been okay. So it must have been late 2019. It was going to come out, and it came out like March 2020 or something instead. Which is, wild. No, not that wild, actually. As far as delays go, it's not that bad. But I remember reading the news about it. Like, and it was just like, oh, the devs were just like, hey, we want to keep it, like, in development a little bit longer just to make sure we don't have to crunch. And I was just like, yeah, you go. Don't crunch. That's basically the long and short of my very basic opinion. Don't crunch, I'm alright, we're waiting. I'm not dying over here waiting for Animal Crossing to come out. And here we are. Here's Animal Crossing. Here we are, 3 years later, I suppose, playing the game. And you might be like, what do you think of it in the end? It's alright, I think I said my bits and pieces of this before, but there's parts of it, like, with customization is really cool and stuff, but, there's also, like, I feel like it has lost a little bit of charm since New Leaf, but I don't know if that's nostalgia talking or not. Who knows? Because I also did not play New Leaf every single day for, like, 3 years continuously, so make of that what you will. What was that? What else was I going to say? Yeah, it's Silk Song's delayed again. I don't know when it's been delayed to. Let's see. Hollow Knight Silk Song. I've got to imagine Hollow Knight Silk Song is now coming to the point. Oh god, what am I doing? Where it's going to be like it's going to have an insane amount of hype behind it. Hype which it can never live up to, is my assumption. It's things like that, like Half-Life 3. Hollow Knight, like Silk Song, things which have been in anticipation for so long. People, like, I think we're probably past the peak of hype for this game coming out, to be honest. And I shouldn't say past the peak. It's more like the hype levels are probably dying down a little bit, and then once the actual official date is properly like confirmed, and it actually probably seems like it's going to be released on that day, then the hype will start ramping up again, I think. But we're certainly like in a it's just like physically impossible, or I don't know, socially impossible to keep hype going like that high for the entire time, right? So it should be no surprise that eventually, there's going to be highs and lows, I suppose, of it in the first place. But how long has it been like in development now? Like, I'm kind of worried. Like, I'm not a dev on it, but I'm just like, if I was a dev on it, I'd just be like, how are we ever going to live up to this insane hype behind Hollow Knight? To be fair, if they just made Hollow Knight basically version 2.0, I think it would still probably like live up to the hype. But of course, I'd imagine when you create these sort of things, you don't want to just make version 2.0. You would kind of want to go like above and beyond, right? You kind of want to do something incredible. You kind of want to make something fantastic. You want to make something that goes down in history. Of course, life isn't always that easy. It's not exactly like you can just sit there and be like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to make like a lasting legacy. It's about legacy. I'm just going to make something which just goes down in history as like one of the best games of all time or something, Not exactly the most doable thing. But anyway, so I was going to say, like, how long has it been delayed again? Again, no hate to the devs or anything. Delayed past June 2023. Honestly, I didn't even know it was coming out in 2023, so... you know, if anything to me, that's like an anti-delay. It's coming out sooner than I expected. I was like, what? I wonder how long... Not how long, I wonder how far along it actually is through completion. Because it was a game which was teased like ages ago, wasn't it? Like, must have been some like E3 or something, I can't remember. Like back then I hadn't even played Hollow Knight, to be honest. I only heard it was like the best game ever, and like the amount of hype that was surrounding it, I suppose, when Hollow Knight the sequel, I suppose, got teased was pretty insane. To say the very least. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. Silk Song eventually will come out. Other games will eventually come out. I wonder what game has been delayed the longest throughout history. You know what? I think the answer might be... Well, I should say popular game, because I'm sure there's like much more indie games which have not been, but certainly it wasn't like Duke Nukem Forever, like in development for like 20 years or something. So it's something insane. Hello, Rach. Probably going to play some of the new Legend of Zelda, I'd imagine. But wasn't Duke Nukem Forever in like development for like 15 years or something? Because I remember watching the YouTubers Far From Subtle play that or something. And then them just being like, oh, it's kind of like, yeah. or whatever. And then I remember so many reviews being like, you can see basically at which point of development they were working on this game. What was the popular like flavor of month at the time? You know, which shooter was like popular? Like, I can't remember. Someone did like analysis being like, oh, this is like when Halo was popular. Or this was when like Call of Duty, you know, like the grim dark aesthetic was popular. Then you know, start getting into like the wacky shooters or whatever. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure someone broke it down better than I did. I'm not even sure if it's necessarily true, to be honest. But yeah, it's sort of thing where like Duke Nukem was super hyped, and then it probably got an unbearable amount of hype, and then when it was released, it was just like, oh yeah, it's a fine game, probably. I don't know if it's necessarily bad. It might have been. I might just be, you know, talking absolute nonsense, to be honest, but I got the impression it was fine. But when I suppose something hype has been building for years and years and years, it's pretty hard to live up to those impossible standards, right? Duke Nukem Forever. When was this released? 2011, my word. Its development lasted 14 years. It was announced in 1997. I can't even imagine. Let's see, critical reception? 2 out of 10, 6, okay. Basically, it scores about 50 out of 100, where it's incredibly middling. One of the worst games of the year, wow. By Yahtzee. It's a legacy. Let's see. Longest game in development. I feel like there was like a video essay from a YouTuber who was like, it took me 30 years to make this game or something, right? I can't even remember. It was something like that, and the only thing I remember was like one of the mistakes he made was like trying to introduce a new mechanic every single level, and then the other one was like he wanted custom sprites for facing left and facing right or something, including like changing the shading, which was just wild to think about, but still. 30 years game in development, not 30 game year tag. I don't know if I just made this up. I can sort of picture the sprite as well. Inside a 40-year-long Dungeons and Dragons game. That's not what I had in mind, but that's also pretty cool. Maybe it was like 10-year game development. I don't even know what to Google to find it, because it was certainly before the days of like clickbait sort of games. Like games, videos. This game, lessons learned from game that took years in development. That's Joy-Con drift. 10 years of making video games? No. Like, this must have been a video I seen like a decade ago or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell now because all of these videos are much more clickbaity. But that's what I remember. I can't remember who it was. I think I must have seen it on Reddit or something first. And that's what led me to it. Anyway, sorry, longest game in development, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Has been in development for how long? I remember when this was announced in the trailer as well, to be honest. Where people were so hyped, and I was like, I literally never even heard of this game, and it was like, it came out like before, like, I was born or something. It's been 5,234 days since a Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer was released. Really? I thought this game did come out. Wait, when did this trailer come out? Did it really come out that long ago? Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer. 5 years ago. No. What? 2008 announcement trailer. I remember wait, was I 10 when I... Because I felt like I watched it when I used to watch Far From Subtle. Was I 10 when I used to watch them? Maybe. I don't really know. I'd say that possibly adds up. I was using a computer a lot when I was about 10 or 11. My word. And this game isn't out yet? Or is it out yet? See. Beyond Good and Evil. I don't even know what this game is, I'm going to be honest. It's still upcoming. My word. It's a prequel to 2003. Sequel was teased in 2008, with almost a decade of silence before officially announced at Ubisoft's 2017 conference. That might be the 2017 one, I remember. I probably didn't remember the initial teaser. I probably saw the 2017 one and people were just like, what? Maybe. It's broke a record held by Duke Nukem Forever for longest development of a AAA video game at more than 15 years. I kind of want to see what games have a longest development, not AAA. Like what indie games out there have probably taken like 50 years or something to actually create. Let's see. I don't remember. That's not my mouse. I don't know why PC Gamers resource it on Wikipedia, but sure. 8 games of a longest development time. Okay. Ultima X. 5 years. 5 years doesn't even seem like that long a development time, I'm going to be honest. LA Noire was 7 years. Spore was 8 years. That's weird. Because wasn't Spore like released in early alpha for ages or whatever? I feel like I remember my friends playing like very early versions of it. 2 Human Prey. Duke Nukem Forever. Indie game with longest game in development. Screen Run. I'm not sure if this is exactly the sort of game I want, the article I want to look at, but Team Fortress 2 is the 9 years. Really? Team Fortress 2 took 9 years to develop? I didn't know that. Mother 3, 12 years. Really? Originally planned for a Nintendo 64. Failed Dolphin add-on. GameCube. What? It came out on GameCube? Metroid Dread? Metroid Dread been 16 years? I don't know. This is where you go on Reddit. So someone's probably spoken about this. What's the longest development time for a good great game? Doom 4? Team Fortress 2? I don't know, Team Fortress 2 had such a long development. Anyway. Delayed games, I suppose. I'm going to round this episode off here. If you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons admin. Dear darling, likes, comments, discussion, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, so farewells. Until next time, bye-bye for now. I haven't even talked about the fact that games often get released in like early access now. So I wonder if the delays aren't even that like common anymore. Who knows? Anyway, sorry, bye-bye for now.